The silver screen theater buzzed with anticipation as patrons settled into their seats for the midnight showing of Nightmare City. Popcorn machines hissed in the background, filling the air with the scent of buttery nostalgia. Laughter echoed through the aisles, blending with whispered conversations about the film's infamous jump scares. But Detective Evelyn Reyes wasn't there for thrills. She sat near the back row, her trench coat draped over the seat beside her, eyes scanning the crowd for anything out of place. 3 months ago, during the same movie at the same time, a young woman named Lily Chen vanished without a trace. All that remained was a crumpled popcorn bag scrawled with chilling words. "You'll never see me coming." As the lights dimmed and the projector whirred to life, casting flickering shadows across the walls, Evelyn felt it, a prickle of unease crawling up her spine. Something was off tonight. And then, just as the on-screen villain raised his chainsaw, the theater plunged into darkness. When the lights returned, a figure stood in the center aisle, cloaked in shadow, holding a megaphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," they said, their voice distorted beyond recognition. "Thank you for joining us tonight. May I remind you that your reality is merely a projection? Enjoy the show." Before anyone could react, the figure disappeared into the night, leaving behind another victim and a growing sense of dread. Back at the precinct, Evelyn dove headfirst into the case, piecing together clues left behind by the killer known only as the real Slayer. Each murder followed a pattern. Victims were chosen not at random but connected through subtle threads. Shared interests in underground art galleries, university ties, even season passes to the silver screen theater. Yet none seemed to know each other personally. Every lead brought more questions than answers. A cryptic note slipped under a seat read, "Art demands sacrifice." A pristine white glove embroidered with T.R.S. lay beside one body. Forensic analysis revealed traces of a rare chemical compound used in professional-grade film stock. Someone with intimate knowledge of cinema mechanics was playing a twisted game, and Evelyn was running out of time. Her partner, Detective Marcus Chun, tried to keep her grounded. "Evie, we're chasing ghosts here," he warned. But Evelyn couldn't shake the feeling that the killer was taunting her, leaving breadcrumbs leading straight to them. When surveillance footage revealed a hooded figure lingering outside the theater before each attack, carrying a large duffel bag, Evelyn thought she had her break. But every suspect interview led to dead ends. Was it Victor Kane, the avant-garde filmmaker whose work blurred the line between horror and reality? Or Dr. Eleanor Hartley, the renowned film historian whose essays explored humanity's obsession with fear? With each passing day, the stakes grew higher. Another victim fell, a man found slumped in his seat, a single word carved into the armrest. Intermission. Who was next? And why did the killer choose cinemas as their stage? Evelyn Reyes wasn't just a detective. She was a woman driven by guilt and redemption. 5 years earlier, she'd failed to stop a serial arsonist who torched an entire apartment complex, killing 12 people, including a little girl whose face still haunted her dreams. This case wasn't just about catching a killer. It was about proving she could protect others when it mattered most. Her intuition often clashed with Marcus's logic, but it was that balance that kept them moving forward. While Marcus dissected evidence with precision, Evelyn followed gut feelings, diving deep into the psyche of the real Slayer. What drove someone to turn a place of escape into a scene of terror? Was it the thrill of performing in front of an unwitting audience, or something darker? A commentary on society's fascination with violence disguised as art? As the investigation wore on, Evelyn began to see herself reflected in the killer's actions. Both were consumed by their obsessions, willing to cross lines others wouldn't dare. Could she catch the real Slayer before crossing into territory she couldn't return from? The pieces finally clicked into place when Evelyn uncovered a connection between all the victims. Attendance at secret screenings hosted by Victor Kane, the avant-garde filmmaker. His films weren't just entertainment, they were experiments, pushing boundaries until they shattered. During a tense interview, Kane quoted lines from classic horror movies, arguing that fear was humanity's greatest teacher. But the real breakthrough came when Evelyn discovered discrepancies in Dr. Eleanor Hartley's alibi. The esteemed film historian, whose essays explored the psychology of horror, had written extensively about the power of fear as an artistic medium. One essay stood out. "We crave fear because it reminds us we're alive. Without danger, life becomes mundane, predictable. Horror strips away pretense, forcing us to confront truths we'd rather ignore. Perhaps then the ultimate act of artistry lies not in creating fear, but in embodying it." Confronting Hartley proved difficult. At first, the professor appeared cooperative, offering theories and insights that helped Evelyn understand the killer's mindset. But as the conversation turned personal, Hartley grew defensive, challenging Evelyn to consider the broader implications of her actions. "You think you can stop me?" Hartley asked softly. "Even if you do, what does it change? The world will always hunger for fear. You can't unmake that truth." Arresting Hartley felt like victory, but doubts lingered in Evelyn's mind. Had she truly captured the mastermind, or merely one cog in a larger machine? As the case closed, she couldn't help but wonder. How many others like Hartley existed, waiting in the wings, ready to step onto the stage? Months later, Evelyn returned to the abandoned Silver Screen Theater, now a relic of its former glory. Dust coated the seats, and cobwebs hung like curtains over the screen. Yet even in ruin, the place exuded an eerie beauty, a reminder of the power of storytelling and its potential to corrupt. As she walked through the empty aisles, laughter drifted through the shadows. Soft, distant, almost playful. Turning sharply, she searched the darkness, half expecting to see Hartley, or someone else, emerging from the gloom. But no one was there. Just echoes, fading into silence. And yet, as the last light faded from the room, Evelyn felt it, a flicker of unease. Somewhere, somehow, the show went on. Because in the darkness of the cinema, everyone is watching. But who's really in control?